Right to it. Hey everyone from the cyber world, this is WYD Rocks. My name is Dario Mobini, joined by my good friend Deacon Pedro from WYDCentral.org, and we are talking about all things WYD as we prepare to encounter, to engage, and to accompany. That's the three fancy words that we are now working our way towards. And we're in the preparing stage still, but yet here we are getting together finally again, talking about all things WYD. There's a lot of
news. Yeah, a lot of updates.
News. Yes, but for those of you guys that are hoping for like part 2 of the spiritual preparation, we will continue that next week. But
yes.
this week we have to talk about some new updates. First and foremost, before we get to that, the conference directors of the bishops' conferences are currently now in Lisbon and in Fatima doing kind of like a scoping and visiting and getting together. It's the first time they've gotten together since Panama. So it's quite an update. It's good news, which means like this is going to happen. Like there's no backing out now. There's no postponing this.
No. And if you want maybe a little background so people might not know. So every country should have, under the Episcopal Conference or under the bishops, they would have someone who is responsible for WYD, whether that's the person that's responsible for youth ministry or young adult ministry. Some countries have very small bishops' conference, so they might not have someone. They might appoint someone. And usually that person gets to go. So every year, so about 6 months before this, I guess it's not 6 months, it's about 9 months this time, 10 months, but usually it's about 6 months before there's a gathering at the host city where all these episcopal coordinators, national coordinators, get to travel, and they get to get sort of all the information, or as much as the information that's available. So that's what Dario's talking about. So all the national coordinators from WYD from all around the world are in Lisbon right now. Which is why there's so many updates, because all of a sudden stuff that wasn't on the website last week, it's all of a sudden there. So clearly they've been gearing up for this week. And usually, so because the reason why they haven't gotten together since Panama, because usually there would be, so after WYD, also, I don't know, Dario, is it about 6 months later or a year later?
Just about a year later, right?
There's a gathering in Rome to kind of sort of do it. Used to be like an evaluation. I don't know if it's so much of an evaluation, and then a little teaser for the next one.
Right.
And sometimes it would happen around the time when the WYD cross
would be handed over.
So a year later. But that did not happen.
Well, I mean, they did kind of have like a very small ceremony.
Yeah, but nobody went. It was during COVID, and it was the first year that it got moved to Christ the King.
Exactly.
From Palm Sunday. So it wasn't. There was no gathering. So that's why they're just meeting now for the first time. So some of the guests that we've had on the program, Paul Jarzembowski,
Gerard Gallagher.
Although Gerard's not the national coordinator anymore.
No, he's not anymore, but he's there.
He would have been. But and other people. So if you're from some of the from any country, Germany, Australia, France, Spain, the larger countries, Canada, US, that would have national coordinators, I can bet you that they're in Fatima right now. In Lisbon right now. Probably in Fatima. I'm sure they got a trip to Fatima, but in Lisbon right now, helping prepare so that they can be ready to assist you in preparing to go to Lisbon next year.
And they're also getting a little teaser so that they can come back and charge up their bishops to really promote this on a local level, right? Especially in the dioceses that they will come back to.
Exactly.
Get people excited to go because, we want to have every country represented. We want to have every culture, language represented. And at the same time, it's not about numbers from each of those countries. It's about representation, that the church is universal for the matter that it reaches out to the whole world. That's one of the things that I admire most about visiting Rome and seeing Bernini's colonnade. And I'm constantly reminded of this. The church's mission is to embrace the world and to bring the world to the one Lord Jesus Christ, and to have that encounter be a special, memorable one, a life-changing one. And so this is one of the reasons why they're there now, right? And we can only pray and hope that they are, getting inspired by the committee, who, by the way, have been working super hard I was just there about a week before everyone arrived and saw how hard they worked, getting things organized and things started. It's a lot of work.
It
It's a
is.
lot, as you know.
And it's not that they were, disorganized and they just kind of pull it together just for now. A lot of times they'll wait for this gathering. I remember in Panama, we released the international version of the song with the video during the gathering with the national coordinator. So it's a lot of times you wait until the national coordinators are there, and then you announce things like the registration packages, which we're going to talk about, and other things like that. So lots of updates.
Yeah. So let's get right to the first update then. Registration. Do we know when it happens?
When they're going to open the registration?
Exactly.
Hopefully soon. So the registration is not open yet, but
Not yet.
all the information is there. So if you go to Lisboa2023.org, Lisbon2023.org, in English, you can get this information. There's a general information about accommodations, about food, how it's going to work, transportation, health, safety. And of course, now with COVID and insurance, there's a whole other level of concern with health and safety, but it's all in the website. And then there's tabs for pilgrims, for volunteers, for bishops, for priests, for youth festival, and for media, for press. So you want to go to pilgrims, assuming that most of you are pilgrims, and there's pilgrim information, and then there's also the pilgrim packages.
Yes.
And that's because you have different options. So actually,
let's tackle each of them individually now. So
yeah,
you're looking at the pilgrim part, right?
I am looking at the pilgrim packages. So, and it's interesting. So basically, the participation in World Youth Day is free. You're not being charged to go to World Youth Day. So all the World Youth Day events are free. Anybody can just walk in. You don't even need a pilgrim pass. However, if you have a pilgrim pass, you will be given priority in terms of how close you're going to be. So they'll have sections closer up for pilgrims that have registered, and then but they're open to the public. What you're being charged for are accommodations, meals, transportation, insurance, and then of course you get a pilgrim kit or the pilgrim bag, which costs. So it's fair that includes. So Lisbon is offering 4 packages or 4 options, which is not unusual. I think Panama had 3.
Oh, yeah.
But so 4 is not unusual. Package 1, they're calling it A1. I don't know, is because there's
No,
B.
that's normal. No, it's usually A1 is normal. That's I think it also goes.
B is just for the weekend. Yes,
Yeah,
I get it.
yeah.
I get it. So A1 would be the mode A. This is going to get so complicated. People should just go to the website. So you can either register for the whole week or you can register for the weekend. If you're registering for the whole week, it's mode A. So A1 would include accommodations, meals, transportation, insurance, like the whole package. That's the package deal. And that it's 235 euros. I don't know what the conversion rate is right now, but that's
almost 1 to 1. Almost
it
1
is
to
it.
1.
So
yes.
$235. It's not terribly expensive. Most people in North America should be able to afford that. You also have the option of not having accommodations. So you're just paying for meals, transportation, insurance, and the pilgrim kit, or you can forego the meals and just have accommodations, transportation, insurance, or you could forego the accommodation and the meals and then just go. So it's kind of good actually that they're giving you the opportunity to customize. So you might not need accommodations, but you do want meals, or you don't want the meals, but you do want accommodation, or you want the whole package. But everybody gets insurance and everybody gets the pilgrim bag. So, and usually the meals, it would include all the meals, like dinner on the first day and breakfast on the last day, and then breakfast, lunch, and dinner all days. And we'll have to probably dedicate a whole episode just to meals, because still don't know, maybe Dario knows what Lisbon is planning on doing with meals. I don't know. So as if you're doing the whole week, the most expensive package, I said 235 euros, which is about $235, or the cheapest one, which does not include accommodations or meals, but it includes transportation, and transportation just means that you get the bus pass for the whole week
Right.
or the subway pass, and that's 95 euros.
Yep.
So not expensive. Now you could, if you don't, and this is more for people who live in Portugal or have a place to stay in Portugal. You're staying with friends, with family, so you don't need accommodations, you don't want the meals. You or maybe you're just going for the weekend because you can't take the whole week off. So you only register for the weekend. So you can get accommodations, food, transportation for the weekend, or again, same options, or meals but no accommodation, et cetera, et cetera. So those are the package, all the B packages, the letter B. So that's only for the weekend. Or you could do, I think this is an option that's different. You could just go to the vigil and the final mass. So that will get you into the mass with a pass so that you're a little closer, but you also include transportation and insurance, because it's nice to have insurance. And you also
Yes,
get
absolutely.
you also get the pilgrim bag so that you can represent when you come back home. And there are two options there, the package C. One includes the lunch for the mass, the Sunday, and one doesn't. And that's 50 euros or 60 euros if you want the lunch. I'm calling it lunch. They're calling it picnic. So I don't know what that's going to look like.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, the most important thing is you have to realize that they're going to feed you, they're going to transport you, they're going to provide the insurance for you, because anything that happens to you, God forbid, there's always medical tents everywhere, medical personnel that are there to serve
Exactly.
you and to care for you, no matter what circumstances you're in. So it's equitable for every member who is attending this event, right? And then the important thing is that a pilgrim kit is included in it. So you might think to yourself, like 50 or 60 euros seems like a lot of money to participate on the vigil and the final mass. But you're getting all the meals, you're getting the transportation, you're getting the pilgrimage kit and the insurance. And that's a really good deal to start with. The other thing I want to mention too is that A1 or a I think B1 plus, those also include for days in a diocese members that there is extra accommodation, there's extra food, there's extra transportation added to that to a specific amount of days. So you might look at, there's like a 20 euro increase between 235 and 255 in the A1 package.
And that's because of the days in the diocese.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or even the post days. Like if you're staying like an extra day, you do realize like what happens like on Sunday evening, you're done. Like, good luck. If you don't get back home to your accommodation for Sunday evening, usually Sunday evening, that's it. That's your last meal, your last train transportation. And then on Monday, you're on your own.
You're on your own. So it's nice that they're offering that extra day.
Yes.
And it's, my advice is to stay an extra day, because you're going to be in the airport, especially with the state of flights nowadays. I don't know what it's going to be next year, but cancellations and just airport will be overwhelmed on Sunday. And that just for a lot of people, they have to return on Sunday. But if you don't have to return on Sunday, it might be worth staying till Monday. We usually try to stay till like Wednesday to make sure that you can do all that extra pilgrimage as well. But there's a separate tab about days in the diocese as well. So when you go to the website, Lisbon 2023, pilgrims, you can go to pilgrim packages, and then there's a whole tab at the bottom for days in the diocese and for priests, because it looks like, well, priests, I think the only thing that you have to email here, but usually the only thing is that priests want to volunteer to be able to celebrate the sacrament of reconciliation or be part of the reconciliation park, or to celebrate. And for that, you need to register, and you need to make sure that you have a letter of good standing.
Yep. Or a celebrate card.
Your celebrate exactly from whatever from your diocese. So that's a little bit different for the priests, as it will be for the bishops, because the bishops also will get to.
I think the bishops have to register through their conference coordinator.
They should.
Yeah, they should. And make sure if you are a bishop and you want to attend World Youth Day, do not go through the hassle of going through the website. Although the website is good for pilgrims and also leaders, the whole point of it is to get macro groups and set up big umbrella groups. And usually a conference is that umbrella group,
Yes,
and a conference coordinator
yes,
should be helping you for that.
and that's a lot of the conference the national coordinators. A lot of what they're doing is helping to make sure that the bishops get to go, and through the bishop, obviously, any pilgrims that are traveling from that bishop's diocese or from the parishes. So it all kind of trickles down. We're not going to go into detail
No.
now, but there's also information. So you can go as a pilgrim, you can go as a volunteer, and we've talked about that, and maybe we can talk
Yeah.
about volunteering, because I'm sure that you can go for a volunteer for the week, you can volunteer probably for 2 weeks, you can volunteer for a
Right.
month, you can volunteer for 6 months. I don't know if that's still open. But that's a great, maybe 3 months volunteer. That's a great opportunity for someone. If you've already been a pilgrim at a previous World Youth Day and you want to step it up to the next level, then maybe you can go volunteer for 2 weeks. What a great opportunity to be with young people from around the world working on a World Youth Day. And then of course there's for media, for press, and for Youth Festival. And there's other information there about main events and what they're calling the City of Joy. Had you heard about this, that they've called it City of Joy?
A little bit. So, I mean, again, the City of Joy is the vocations fair. It's
Right.
the place where everybody gathers together and discusses the joy of missionary spirituality and being actively engaged in the life of the church.
Exactly.
It's a great title. I mean, you're looking
is.
at the theme, right, where we go with haste.
Yep.
But when we go with
with
haste,
joy.
how do we go with joy? Of course, because
Yeah.
there's something about going and telling everyone that hey, we have a child. I mean, that's what great joy there for a parent.
It is. It's great. And I'm trying to think, I don't know if Panama had a name, but it's much better than calling it, Reconciliation Park or Vocational Fair, right? It's like,
Yeah, but I think the Krakow had an interesting one too, the Mercy Park.
yeah,
or
Mercy
the-
Park. Yeah.
It's like,
Panama,
yeah, but,
Panama might have had a name, but it was that, park, that big park in the middle of the city, and they had the vocational fair and then also the reconciliation section there as well. So Lisbon will have the same thing. So all that is at lisboa2023.org. If you haven't gone to that website yet, now is a good time to start going, and you can find information in English, Spanish, and Portuguese.
And there's going to be a link attached to this video, so you can
absolutely
click on that link, go right to that page, and then you can click on those sublinks so that you can see this information. Although
Absolutely.
the information is there, it does not mean you can register quite yet.
No, not yet.
Not
but
yet.
soon. But soon.
Very soon.
Soon.
And that's the thing about right now, what they want to do is to get you informed. And if you're going with a tour organizer, most likely they'll be the ones taking care of that for you. If you're going by yourself, this is where you have to pay close attention to what we just described. And you can go back and rewind on the video and listen to it again, because as Deacon Pedro mentioned, there are packages out there, and each package has a specific purpose.
Yeah.
I would definitely consider the fact that we talked about this in a previous show, that you're probably going to be spending about $1,500 total on World Youth Day. 1,000 of that is just going to be the flight.
Just your flight.
Just the flight. And you might end up paying more on the flight. And for a fact now, with what has been released, the how much the packages is going to cost, you're looking at no more than 255 euros / 255 US dollars, or I believe 300 Canadian dollars. If I'm close enough,
Probably a little
somewhere
more,
around
but
that
yes.
area.
Yep.
Same goes with the Australian dollar for those of you guys there. British sterling.
And the British sterling is,
I think you're
like
about a little
double.
less than that. Yeah, I think. Is it
Sorry,
double?
yeah, it'll be
The other way
yeah,
around.
yeah.
It's like
It's the other way around. Yeah.
150 quid, I want to say, probably.
Right.
Somewhere like that, right?
Yeah.
So that's where we're at with regards to the situation at hand as we prepare for this event. But I'll tell you, if you are not considering about going to World Youth Day now, seeing the financial, how affordable it is, that should entice most of you to say, you know what, this is going to be a perfect opportunity for me to go. But here's the question that I have. Solidarity Fund doesn't seem to be included in there. Have you noticed that?
No, I did notice it, but usually it's not. There is extra information, like there's information about visas and passports and people with disabilities. You're right. I did not see that. It might be in a different section, and
it's at the very bottom of that page, actually. If you go to the very bottom of that page, where we finished the Pilgrim Kit, there are 3 green, lines there. One, it says additional contribution for the Solidarity Fund.
okay.
This is a voluntary donation. And it used to be included in the cost of the World Youth Day. This time around, what they've done is they've added that for a voluntary donation. As you notice that it's something interesting, because I thought they were going to have like a separate, from like countries in list A,
They
countries
do
in list
that.
B,
They've
countries in
done
list
that,
C.
yes.
It seems like they've taken that out altogether, so that way we have a base fare in a sense, right? This is the base payment for your trip, 255 euros. 10 euros for Solidarity Fund is being suggested.
Yeah.
I'd encourage everybody in this situation, because those countries who are in need, they will be requesting that specific assistance by the dicastery themselves. We are not posting, and this is what the World Youth Day office has done. They're not going to post, this is the countries that are in need, so they're going to pay less, because it's not a good thing for us to promote that these are bad countries. We're not saying that these are bad countries. And at the same time, what we're saying is like, look, we're encouraging everyone to contribute 10 euros for the Solidarity Fund.
Yes.
So that those countries in need may request
Exactly.
from the conference coordinator. They're
Yes.
going to be requesting for their conference, for their, young people.
Yes, and that gets managed through the dicastery in Rome. So
Right.
maybe that's another.
And that's where
I
you're going to
see.
make that fund. I don't know if you can see that on that post. And
Yeah,
that
I
was something
do.
that
So
remember
additional
hearing about,
contributions,
yes.
and then there's other information there. You're right. I did miss that. So it is there, and it's something to consider. And again, those of us that live in wealthier countries, most of us can afford this. Most of us can, and maybe that's how you're going to contribute. Maybe you can't go, but you have an extra $50. Throw it into the Solidarity Fund. What a great way to
Absolutely.
support people from Haiti, from Ukraine.
Yes. And there's going to be delegations from those countries
Yeah,
going
there will
there.
be,
So
and African countries, countries in the South Pacific, that it's going to be very expensive for them to travel, but they still get to go. So that's a great way
Absolutely.
to support people. All right, we need to probably wrap
No,
it
yeah,
up.
we're wrapping it
No,
up,
this
because
is lots of information.
This
be
is a lot
back.
of information, but the most important thing is get excited. There's updates that are coming, and the most important thing is that very soon registrations will occur. Packages are there, lodging from simple accommodation to hostels to hotels. Obviously, like if you're going simple accommodations, the World Youth Day Committee will take care of that for you.
Yeah.
If you're going through hostels and hotels, maybe you should consider going through an organization that will help you set that up for you.
Yeah,
And there are
travel.
many out there, travel companies that do that for you. But the most important thing is, like, there's updates, there's coming. We will post them eventually as we hear about them. WorldUT.com and WYD Central will be two great resources for you. And the WorldUT.com website will be getting a nice spruce up very soon on updates, all this content and more. But most importantly, check out the World Youth Day website, the official World Youth Day website, Lisboa2023.org. Again, that's Lisboa2023.org for more detail. But from all of us at worldyouth.org and .com, and from WYDcentral.org, I know it's so many
That's so
websites.
good. You're pretty good at this.
I try.
Yeah.
But we wish you guys all the best. Enjoy this beautiful day on the feast of St. Luke, the gospel writer, and how beautiful that this information is being released on the feast of St. Luke, whom we actually get the beautiful, phrase, the theme from the Gospel of Luke, right? Make haste. So until next time, we will continue part 2 of our discussion on looking at the topic of spiritual preparation on our show next week. Until next time, guys, God bless you. Take care, and we will see you next time.